Welcome to Math with Professor V. Here's your latest integral of the day. And the inspiration for choosing this particular integral is thanks to one of my students yesterday who, during the final exam review session, was going through and randomly picking different integrals to practice, to brush up on, get ready for the final next week. And he chose this integral thinking, oh, looks like, medium level difficulty. And it turned out to be what I think is a rather demanding integral. So we have here just an indefinite integral of the square root of x squared plus 4x dx. If you want to pause the video, try it on your own. I'll let you know the first thing you need to do is complete the square and then use a trig sub. But then it just gets kind of lengthy after that point. Okay, so on that note, let's go and complete the square. And let me remind you how to do that because maybe you've forgotten. That's something I also was told that comes up often. So when you have x squared plus 4x, I need to figure out what constant to add to make a perfect square trinomial. And in order to determine that, I take the coefficient of x and I divide it by 2 and then square it. So in this case, 4 divided by 2 squared gives me 4. So that's what I'm going to add right here. But we know we can't just go willy-nilly adding 4s wherever we want. We have to keep things balanced. So I'm also going to subtract 4 at the same time. I don't have an equation. I just have an expression I'm manipulating. And then now this is a perfect square trinomial. So it's going to factor into x plus 2 squared. It's always going to have the same sign as whatever is in front of the linear term, the middle term. It could be nonlinear in certain cases. And then the last constant is the square root of whatever you just added. And then I have minus 4. So I can rewrite my integrand. Now we have integral square root x plus 2 squared. And maybe I'll write it as minus 2 squared dx just to kind of help you out. So remember, normally when you just have x squared minus a squared, you make the substitution. You let x equal a secant theta. Well, in this case, I don't have just plain old x. I have x plus 2, but that's fine. You're just going to proceed the same way. So we're going to let x plus 2 equal, can you see what a is? Why, yes, it's 2. 2 secant theta. Good? Beautiful. Now we have to differentiate both sides. So dx, and derivative of 2 is just 0, so that's fine. Nothing to stress about here. Equals 2 secant theta tan theta d theta. How are we doing? Good? Okay. So let's now go ahead and make our trig sub and rewrite our integral all in terms of theta. So I have square root. Instead of x plus 2 squared, this is going to be 2 secant theta squared minus 4. And then dx gets replaced with 2 secant theta tan theta d theta. Okay, very good. Let's clean up now underneath the radical. And the whole point of doing trig sub is that we get to use our lovely Pythagorean identities to simplify these expressions here. So this is 4 secant squared theta minus 4, right? All underneath the radical. And I know I can take the 4 out, and then I have secant squared theta minus 1, which is tangent squared theta. So at the moment, I have integral square root 4 tan squared theta times 2 secant theta tan theta d theta. Now, square root of 4 tan squared theta, technically it is 2 absolute value tan theta. But if you'll remember, when we do trig sub, we restrict where theta can be. So in this case, we know that that tangent theta is always going to be positive. I don't usually require my students to write all that out, but I don't want you to think that all of a sudden we're being careless and not worrying about absolute value bars when typically that's something we do, right? Generally speaking, when you have square root of x squared, that's absolute value of x. Okay, so now let's just simplify. I'm not going to worry about absolute value. We've restricted theta, so we're good. Square root of 4 is 2. I have another 2. So then this is going to be integral 4. Here's tan theta, but there's another one. So I'm going to write tan squared theta secant theta d theta. Yes? Okay, and then in this moment you realize we still have some work to do because I can't do a u sub. I'm so sorry. If you let u be tangent theta, no good. Du would be secant squared theta d theta. I don't have that. If you try the other way around, if you let u be secant theta, du would be secant theta tan theta d theta. Again, I don't have that. So then you're like, oh no, I'm stuck. What should I do? All that's staring at me is tan squared theta. Perhaps I ought to try to replace it with the Pythagorean identity, which is the correct choice of action. So we've got 4. This is secant squared theta minus 1, secant theta d theta. And then we can go ahead and distribute. Let me take the 4 out. What is he doing in there? Irritating me, that's what. This is secant cubed theta minus secant theta d theta. Thump, thump, thump. So hopefully you remember, I've shown it in a video lecture before. Secant cubed theta, we find this antiderivative by using integration by parts, and this guy boomerangs. So I'm going to work through it for you. Some people just memorize it, or maybe you're given the reduction formulas. I don't know, but I'm just going to work through from scratch, okay? And then antiderivative of secant theta, you should know this one. Yep, you should. So let me split this up into 2 parts, okay? So we can focus. Secant cubed theta d theta, I'll work through that from scratch, minus integral secant theta d theta. And I'll call them 1 and 2. So here's 1, here's 2. You know, I'm old school. I went to college, university, when we did not have Google, smartphones, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not so reliant on reverting to technology if I can derive something myself and it doesn't take too long. Okay, so what do? I said we're going to start off using integration by parts, but not quite yet. I have to rewrite this first as secant theta times secant squared theta d theta. And then now hopefully you can see how to choose u and dv appropriately. Yeah, dv should be secant squared theta d theta, right? Because we know that antiderivative very easily. And then u is just going to be secant theta. So then du, derivative of secant theta, is secant theta tan theta d theta. And v would be, very good, tan theta. Now, since I told you, I'm familiar, I know this integral is going to boomerang, I'm going to refer to integral secant cubed theta d theta as I from here on out, okay? And I'm going to treat that like some quantity or some variable that I'm solving for. So now I have I is equal to, okay, I'm going to end up with u times v, which is secant theta tan theta, minus integral, what's next? Yes, v du. I'm just going to multiply it all out. So this is going to be secant theta tan squared theta d theta. We okay? You don't need to do integration by parts again to get it to boomerang. You just need to use a Pythagorean identity. So in this case, I'm going to replace the tan squared theta with secant squared theta minus 1. So here we have secant theta tan theta minus integral secant theta. And then, like I said, this tan squared theta is going to be replaced with secant squared theta minus 1 d theta. And then now when I distribute, look what happens. I equals secant theta tan theta minus integral. This is secant cubed theta d theta. I'm splitting it all up already. Plus integral secant theta d theta. So bam, my boomerang came back. How glorious. I have basically minus I over here. It's being subtracted. If I'm trying to solve for I, then let me go ahead and add I to both sides. Then now on the left, I have 2I equals secant theta tan theta plus integral secant theta d theta. Good? How do I get I by itself? I'm going to divide by 2 or multiply everybody by 1/2. So then I'm going to have 1/2 secant theta tan theta plus 1/2, we know antiderivative of secant theta, right? Natural log absolute value secant theta plus tan theta plus C1. This antiderivative, I would recommend memorizing because in order to derive this, it's not the most intuitive thing unless you've seen it already, okay? And it comes up often enough. So integral 1 is done. Let me box this. We'll put it on the back burner, you know, like we're on a cooking show. You got like the sauce on simmer in the back, and now we're going to the next little side dish we're working on. I put C1 because I want to save C for the grand finale when I'm all done. Okay, our second little baby integral, actually pretty harmless little creature, secant theta d theta. Oh, we just did that. Natural log absolute value, secant theta plus tan theta plus C2. Okay, we can box it. It doesn't feel like it took much effort compared to the first one, but here we go. So now let's put everybody all together. And then I'll go back to the original variable if you were wondering when that was going to happen. So we had a 4 sitting outside. Do you remember that? Okay. Then my first integral, 1/2 secant theta tan theta plus 1/2 natural log absolute value secant theta plus tan theta. And then I have minus integral 2. So it's minus natural log absolute value secant theta plus tan theta. And then I'm going to put plus D. I'm still not ready to use C, you guys. There's still some work to do. And let's tell the people who this constant D is. So D is 4 times C1 minus 4 times C2. Okay. What do I notice here? These two natural log expressions can be combined. I can clean up their coefficients. I have positive 1/2 and negative 1. Oh, I know, right? And at the same time, I'm going to distribute the 4. Can you handle all this? Yes, you can. This is 2 secant theta tan theta. This is going to give me minus 1/2 natural log secant theta plus tan theta, but times 2. Times 2. So then it's going to be minus 2 natural log absolute value secant theta plus tan theta plus D. Now we have to go back to the original variable x. So remember our trig sub, we had originally let x plus 2 equal 2 secant theta. Now it's triangle time. So get the trig quantity, the trig function by itself. So I'm going to divide by 2. X plus 2 divided by 2 equals secant theta. And it is triangle time. So put theta somewhere. Secant theta is ratio of hypotenuse over adjacent. So this is the hypotenuse. This is the adjacent side. And then to find the opposite side, we use Pythagorean theorem. This is going to end up being square root x plus 2 quantity squared minus 4 is just going to be, yes, x squared plus 4x, the original integral. That happens often in trig sub. You should get back the expression that you used the trig sub on in your triangle. Okay, so let's use our triangle now to go back to x's from here. We have 2 secant theta, well, I know that's just x plus 2 over 2. Okay, that was not too exciting. Let's get to use this triangle that we worked so hard on. Now, tangent theta is ratio of opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be radical x squared plus 4x over 2. Beautiful. Minus 2 natural log absolute value. Secant theta, we know that's x plus 2 over 2. And then plus tan theta, so plus radical x squared plus 4x over 2 plus D. It's gonna go somewhere, just hold on. So I see here these 2's can cancel, okay? And I'm just gonna keep writing this as, I have x plus 2 over 2. Should we put those together? Does that look nice? Sure. X plus 2 over 2 times radical. No, I don't like that. I'm going to switch it in the next step. Minus 2 natural log absolute value. Notice Here I can combine the terms because they have the same denominator. So x plus 2 plus radical x squared plus 4x over 2 plus d. Oh yeah, more is going to happen. So what I'm going to do next, first of all, I hate how that first term looks. I'm going to write it as 1/2. This is just my preference, okay? You don't have to do this if you don't like. There was nothing wrong with what was in the line above. It just looked ugly to me. Minus 2 natural log. I'm going to use my natural log properties and rewrite this quotient, right? That is the argument, using subtraction. So natural log x plus 2 plus radical x squared plus 4x minus, yes, well, I'm going to distribute the negative 2 also. So it'll end up being plus 2 natural log of 2 plus d, okay? And then from here, I can basically just absorb that 2 natural log of 2 into the constant d, and then I'll call that c. That way the end is just as clean and crisp as possible. And that's pretty much how you're always going to see the answers in the back of the book, or if you check a solution, they're going to end with plus c, you know. X, okay, so we've got 1/2 x plus 2, rad x squared plus 4x, minus 2 natural log absolute value, x plus 2 plus radical, x squared plus 4x, and then I'm going to put plus c, where c is d plus 2 natural log of 2. I don't know if your instructors are so picky that you have to say where the constant came from, but it's a habit that's been beat into me mentally, not physically, don't worry, by my differential equations professor at university. So it stayed with me. I hope you enjoyed this integral of the day. What do you think? It turned out, I mean, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't anything that we weren't capable of doing. It just looked pretty harmless and then ended up being rather convoluted. Lengthy? Yeah, that's secant cubed. That's the thing. Do you memorize that antiderivative? Does your professor give it to you? I'm very curious. If I were to put like a problem that involved secant cubed like this, I don't know. This is just too long for a test, I think, but you guys let me know what's going on in your classes. So I hope you enjoyed this integral of the day. My classes are taking their finals next week. I'll have a bunch of grading to do, and then I'll be recording a lot more new content this summer. So I'll keep the integral of the day going. Some people were asking about that. Yeah, of course, it's super fun for me. But then I'm also going to work on doing like some trickier integrals, more advanced ones for those of you who are in higher level math. And then I'm also going to work on my whole business calculus series. And I think the most exciting one is algebra and trig review for the calculus student. So I'm just going to go through the entire calculus series and integrate reviewing algebra concepts like factoring, laws of exponents, all the baby things that maybe you forgot, especially if you took a break from math for a little while. So that should be helpful. That's going to take me a while. So anyways, subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. What did you think of the integral? Did you like it? Do you think it was medium level difficulty? Rate it 1 to 10. How spicy was it? Yeah, I mean, that's very subjective, but I still want to hear what you think. You can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Math with Professor V. I love you all so much. I'll be back sooner than later. Bye.